Okay. All right, so today I'm here with one of my teachers, Mr. Schwingle, and I'm showing you guys a video on Adobe After Effects CS6, and I brought him along. So if you guys have common questions, maybe he can answer them in the video or ask them, and then I'll answer them. So you guys don't have to. If I miss a part in the video, I might not be able to explain it in the comments. So hopefully he'll be able to ask you or ask the questions that you have. So here he is.
Hello.
All right, so to start off with After Effects, you guys are going to be using this mainly for effects, like what it says in the name. You guys don't want to edit a whole movie in After Effects because it's not made for audio editing and cutting your clips. It's mainly used for, like I said, just editing effects and putting effects in. So to start off, usually when you open After Effects, this is what you'll come up with. Actually, I'll reopen it. So there's going to be a save page, so I'll reopen it. Take a second to load. All right, I guess there's, yep, here we go. So you're going to click New Composition usually, and this will come up. So what this is telling After Effects what the size of your composition will be, and your composition is basically the outline for your video. It's what the video space is going to be. So as you can see, if your camera shoots in 720p, you're going to want to change the aspect ratio of your composition so your video won't have to be stretched or shrunken down to fit your time or your composition. So I'm going to just name this tutorial, or tut, that'll work. And I'm going to use 1080p footage, or I think it is 1080p. And usually this can be okay. The duration is usually preset to 17 seconds. So you have hours right here, and then you have minutes right here, and then you have seconds and milliseconds, or frames, I believe. And this is your background color of your composition. You can change it to whatever you want. I just leave it at black. So you want to change this to whatever your video length is, unless you already have your video in there, but I doubt that.
So is this just for clips or a whole video? Could you upload a whole video you wanted to add effects in and work your way through it, or is this just clips?
This is just clips, so you're not going to be able to trim down your clip. So let's say I record a scene of a guy getting shot. You wouldn't be able to cut the director saying action, or when the actor gets back up from getting shot. You can't clip off the ends. I mean, you can, but it's not really clipping it. And you can't really edit the audio in here.
Okay.
So it's mainly just for clips. I mean, if you have a really short video, you can probably do it in here just by lengthening down your composition size so it stops before the video ends and starts. But yeah, mainly for just clips.
So typically it's for just a couple minutes or a couple second type of clip. It's not for an hour-long session, even though it says you can use it for an hour-long. It's not something you would really want to do in.
Yeah, it'd be very inefficient. So to start off, to import your clips, I don't think I have any really short ones. You're going to click on File, and on Windows it'll be right here because you guys don't have this menu, but it'll be on the top left. So File, and you're going to import, and importing is basically just taking your file off of your computer or off your hard drive. I mean, it's still on your hard drive, but bringing it in to After Effects so you can edit it. And I'm just going to do one file. And I think I'll just do my last tutorial. So this is 7 minutes long, which you normally would be stupid to edit in After Effects, but just to show you guys what it looks like. And again, this is what I was talking about when your composition settings are wrong. You'll have to either stretch your video like so to fit, or just change your composition settings to what you're normally filming at. Okay, so when you import your clip, if it is shrunken down like this, or if it is oversized like that, your composition is not the right size for your video. So you want to change that up here, and you can do composition settings and change it back up here. And you just want to change this. I think this is 1440 by 900, and that's just the resolution that you shot at. Okay, it doesn't want to change, so I just have the aspect ratio locked. Okay, so now it's way oversized, but if I would have imported it just like this, it would be just right. Like I said before, you're not going to be able to really cut clips in here. That's mainly in Premiere, but what you can do in Premiere and After Effects is called hyperlinking, and I'll open up Premiere and show you what that is. I'm going to close After Effects though.
So do they have to close After Effects and then reopen it in Premiere and then open back up in After Effects? Is that?
Normally, I don't think you'd be importing your clip into After Effects right away. And if you do import it into After Effects, I don't think you'll have to go into Premiere, so it shouldn't really be a problem. After Effects, you don't have to. It'll open a new After Effects, but this is just quicker. It's not necessary, but whatever. So here's my last tutorial that I did, and let's say if I want to put an effect on the first, I don't know, minute, whatever, I will cut the clip. And if you guys don't know how to cut the clip, check out my last video because that's what that is about. Premiere. So if I can right-click on this, maybe I will replace it with After Effects composition. And basically, what this will do, it'll open up After Effects, and it'll put that little clip that you selected into the After Effects timeline. And the cool thing about this is, I'll rename this, if you change something in After Effects, like I'll just put a color correction on here, which you guys probably won't know, but I'll just showing you something. So if I darken this a little bit, as you can see in Premiere, it's darkened, and all I had to do was move back to Premiere. So whatever you do in After Effects will automatically transfer over to Premiere without you having to render the video, which is really handy when you're working on a lot of little sequences, and you don't want to have to render out each sequence because you lose quality when you render stuff multiple times. So that, I think, is bringing us towards the end, but I have one more thing that I want to show you that's awesome about After Effects, and it's their new 3D motion tracking, which might be a little bit above your guys' level, but it allows me to track actual points in your, this won't work right now, but motion tracking is basically allowing you to put an object in, it'll look like it's actually in your video because it's doing the opposite of what your camera is, so it looks like it'll be still in the frame. And I have an example of this right here, and I'm not going to save this, but this is what motion tracking is made to do. So this is just a little thing that I was messing around with, and I'll RAM preview this just a little bit for you guys to see what it does. And it's a really neat feature that like you can use with a lot of things, and it's very helpful for a lot of 3D modeling that you can do if you want to put an object in a scene and make it look realistic. So as you can see, the camera is moving, but this is staying in the scene, and it looks like it's actually there because it's doing the opposite of what the camera is. So that's what motion tracking is. I'll have a more in-depth tutorial, but that's just for people who are looking to buy something that has that included. So I will bring it to the last part, which is render settings. And to render something in CS5, you'll go to composition, and it should be down here. Otherwise, in CS6, I believe it's in CS5 down here. In CS6, you want to go to export and add a render key, or I believe it's Control M on Windows. But what rendering is finalizing your video, making it into a finished product, incorporating all the stuff that you did in your video into one final sequence, so it's done. Or if you have multiple clips, it'll turn it into one video file. So as you can see down here, it says best settings, and that's just telling me what my render settings are on and resolution. And if you have to scale it, you can do that kind of stuff, but you guys shouldn't have to worry about that. That's a little bit more in depth. Any of this stuff, you can just leave it. Frame blending is kind of above what I'm talking about right now. But you guys should have this on best if you want, and full resolution, because that's good quality. And you guys shouldn't have to worry about it in this stuff. It should use the composition's frame rate, because that's what you set that at the beginning. So that's another thing you should worry about, is the frame rate that your video's at, which is how many frames per second the camera shoots in. And then output module, it's the format. I would suggest H.264, which is MP4, which is compatible with like anything you ever want to use. Otherwise, QuickTime is okay, and MPEG-2 is alright. If you render in Blu-ray, you're going to get two separate files. One is video and one is audio. And they won't play at the same time. It's basically if you want to put it on a disc. So if you want to play it as one whole thing with audio in one file, I'd suggest not rendering it in Blu-ray. I'd probably suggest just H.264. Post-render action, you really shouldn't have to. It's none almost always. You don't have to worry about that. Channels, RGB, just leave it at that. Leave this stuff alone. That's just the colors. If you have to resize your video, so if you shoot at 1080p, or 720p, and you want to size it up to 1080p, which is going to look crappy because you're stretching the video. You just want to change your pixel size right here, and then that's about it. And then you can just name your footage right here. So I'm not going to render it, but if you were to render it, you click right here, and it would render and be wherever you saved it. Like I said, you can save it to different places right here. So that's basically what I'm talking about. Any questions?
Seems to be straightforward. Are you going to be doing another tutorial?
Yeah, definitely. There'll be more in depth on each thing that I did. Like color correcting would be one of them. Motion tracking. After Effects is pretty simple as a whole, but going into each thing can be really hard. But if I get any comments with suggestions, I'll definitely make a tutorial on specific things that you ask, or a little bit more in depth of the whole thing. But there really isn't too much as a whole. It's a lot of just specific little buttons that make it harder to do. And I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, just comment below. And I hoped having someone else here helped you guys out a little bit. So I'll see you guys later.